welcome back, or welcome to Life with Kendall, and today we are going to be talking about things I wish I knew in my 10th grade year so that you can have a great school year and it can just go very smooth for you. Also, for anyone wondering, I was a sophomore last year, but this year I will be a junior. I am very scared, to be honest, I am, but it's okay, we're gonna learn something. Okay, so also I just wanted to say I will be using my phone again in this because it has basically all the information and everything. So yeah, and also I will be including some stuff from friends and family also, and also my sister is home, so you will hear her in the background. I'm gonna start with number one, and that is, number one, it's okay to try something new even if you think you don't have the requirements for it. And I speak from experience because I did it and I don't regret any bit of it. I was on the cheer team and I also joined a sculpting class, and it was really hands-on, and I really did not know that much about, like, I was creative with my hands, I was good at art, but I was never that level of art that I was into. So it was something new to try. I also joined the cheer team, as I said, and in the beginning I was not the best at it. I was very stiff and was not very, like, you know, I wasn't really good at it per se, but I really enjoyed it and I was happy that I joined the team. There's also gonna be some photos and stuff of when I did it, just to like show you that I actually did it because it was actually a really fun time for me and I don't regret doing it one bit. So let's move on to number two. Keeping to yourself can simply be a blessing in disguise. And I say that because when you're to yourself and you're just like with your little group, you're not really focused on what everyone else is doing. Like, I don't want to say like play dumb, but like it keeps you out of everything, to be honest, because it's like I was on a cheer team where drama is going to be stimulated, but the whole time I was on that cheer team I knew nothing about anything until like somebody brought something up about it. Like, I just never really knew about it or knew anything, any kind of drama. So when you're like to yourself and you're focused on just yourself, you're not gonna know as much as everyone else. Like, everything that's like unnecessary and careless will just be out of your view. It's just like you're focused on what you need to do. All right, so number three is a small friend group can be a lot better than one big friend group. And I can say this because I've been in both, and one has benefited me wellly and the other has made me feel drained, confused, and just a whole lot of negative emotions. And all I'm gonna say is I recommend a small friend group because it's less stress, it's less confusion, there's more communication, and there's more of like a closeness when you're with like 5 or 6 friends. The largest friend group that I've ever had was 10, and it was so toxic. There was a lot of drama, there was not much communication, and there was just not the best people to hang around, but I did learn something from it. So yeah, but do it at your own risk. All I'm saying, a small friend group is better than a big one. All right, number 4. Finding your friends or people can be a very interesting experience. And the reason I say this is because the friends that I currently have, we all are different, but we all are similar at the same time. Like, our styles are different, but we all have the same thought process, to be honest. Like, we think the same, we have somewhat the same values and things, and we, you know, kind of align with each other to the point where we can have a conversation and we understand where the other person is coming from. And the reason I say that is because the people that I hung out with before, they were not like that. Like, we all literally kind of dressed similar, but our mindsets were just always clashing. There was no understanding, not really agreement, not really much open-mindedness. That goes back to a small friend group is better than a bigger one. So basically, I would just say, like, finding your people is very interesting because it's like sometimes they're gonna be somebody that dresses completely different from you. You could be into streetwear and someone is into soft girl style, and you're just like, besties. I mean, it doesn't always have to be like that, but it happens. It does happen. Number 5. I say this because I was doing this a lot to myself, and that's one thing I do say that I could have did better this year, is don't be too hard on yourself and make sure you have fun. I was really hard on myself as I was always trying to keep my grades up since I was in a sport, and I also was trying to be social at the same time, and I was just putting a lot of pressure on myself to the point where I eventually probably burnt out like the second semester. But it's not a good feeling. It makes you feel very confused and very tired of just everything and very sluggish, to be honest. So I would just say, like, make sure you don't pressure yourself too much and make sure you're actually enjoying your 10th grade year, because that's technically supposed to be your best year in high school. So I would just say make sure you have fun, make sure you go to the games, make sure you go to the events or join clubs or do activities. Like, it's your second year. You can do stuff now as you've already went through the first stage of high school, where you're technically like the middle child now in high school, to be honest. Like, if it was like family wise, you would technically be the middle child because you're like in the center. Like, you're not all the way at the end, but you're not all the way at the top, if that makes sense. Like, you get it. Okay. All right, so for number 6 is surround yourself with people who truly align with you and who you are as a person. And even though you are in the like middle of high school, I would say you should have, or I feel that you should have some type of like what type of people you're interested in, or the type of vibe you go for, like the type of crowd that you want to be in. And reason I say surround yourself with people who align with you and who truly, like, you know, are interested in what you're interested in. I'm not saying y'all gotta be exactly the same, because it's like it's good to have some differences, but also just make sure that this person has somewhat the same values and like somewhat of the same thought process as you, because if you guys are completely different, you're gonna clash. There is not gonna be an agreement on much things. You may think that the school shouldn't have a dress code, the other person may think we deserve a dress code. So it's like, you gotta just balance it out, if that makes sense. Make sure that you have some similarities, but also some differences to the point where you guys are good. Like, it's a good amount of separation where you guys can be yourselves and not feel like you are always clashing. For number 7 is be yourself. Basically, you're in the middle of high school now, as I've said plenty of times. I feel like you should be able to have found your crowd where you can be yourself and just, you know, have fun and not change who you are. You're still discovering as who you are, but like, you're more in a place where you have figured out somewhat. So I would say just be yourself, enjoy the school year. As I said, go to the events that everything the high school has. So just be yourself. Number 8, this one I have spoken from experience, as I don't know how, but I do know how, but it's like, it's kind of interesting how she ended up becoming my comfort person. But number 8 is sometimes your comfort person can be someone you wouldn't expect in the first place. As I know, people find comfort in like their partners in high school, or their best friends, or you just like in yourself. That can even be one. But I found my comfort in my coach, and also she was the nurse of the school. So I would always literally go to her, and I would just sit there and talk to her. And she really, really was like a mom to me. Also, her and another nurse, I went to them all the time. I ate lunch in there. I spent time with them, mostly during like my lunch breaks, or if I knew that I didn't need to go to another class, I would stay there. So I was literally always in that nurse's office, even though I was never like sick or anything. I was just there because they were my comfort people. They made me feel safe, and they were just, you know, like very like comforting to me. So I love them so much. I still do. But yeah, let's move on to number 9. Number 9 and number 11. Those are from another YouTuber that I saw and that I really thought was interesting. So I'm gonna give her props in the description and get them out there. So number 9 is try not to cram for a test and study the subject for at least an hour every night before, like a week before the test. And I thought that was something that I feel like should be shared, as like if you cram, you're gonna be more stressed, you're gonna be more anxious about the test. But if you would just relax and study, you'll feel more confident and more certain with what you're doing and what you're gonna get on that test. So try not to cram. Okay. Number 10, set boundaries. Set boundaries. It may not seem like a big deal, but it was a big deal. There was a moment where I was being tested to set my boundaries, and I would say I did good in the beginning, but then I eventually was like, yes, you can do that. Don't do that. Make sure you set your boundaries and let people know you're uncomfortable with what they're doing. And be honest. If it's a friend, be honest that you do not feel comfortable with them doing that. Just shut it down instantly. And if they don't respect it, that's not a friend you should keep around. But if they do respect it, obviously, keep that friend around, girl. Keep that friend around. Let's move on to number 11. And this one I already spoke about in the freshman video. If you want me to go more in depth in that one, I recommend you go watch it. But just simple as that. It's basically find other materials, resources to study for the subject that you're in so that you can understand it better. As I said in that one, everybody's learning skills are different. Everybody learns differently. So find programs or resources, or you can use YouTube, as I've said also, to understand it better and basically succeed in that class so that you don't have to worry, because as I said before, there are teachers that will be understanding the subject but will not be able to will not know how to reciprocate it or like put it out there for students to understand also. Okay, so we're going to do number 12 really briefly, and then I'm going to show a little picture of what my friend had to say for another piece of advice that I did not catch on earlier. But this one says, don't worry about high school boys. And reason I say this is because, one, yes, you may be the middle child of high school, but you're gonna expect probably cute dates and, you know, the romantic stuff, but there's also other stuff that comes with it, like a commitment, because I don't really think any relationship does not come with a commitment. So if you're up for that, be my guest, but at the same time, I don't recommend doing that. Also because the highest grade that will be working, in my opinion, are like seniors and juniors, and it's gonna be a risk of heartbreak since you're dating a senior. So I would just be careful with that. But other than that, do it at your own risk. I mean, okay, so one thing that my friend wanted to add, it was a text, so I'm going to put it right here so you can read it. And after that, then that's everything. Alrighty, now that you know everything that I wish I knew in my sophomore year, I hope you go apply them, and I hope they really actually help you. So let me know if they did in the comments. Also, for the question of the day, let me know what you're most excited for about your 10th grade year. Also, if you'd like to be updated when I post my next video or what I do in my daily life, go follow my socials in the description and also in the comments. And I wish you the best in your 10th grade year. You got this, and please wish me luck on my junior year. Okay, I love you. Bye. Mwah.